Hi there, it's me, Kendrick, and welcome to Travel and Live Free. Today, I thought I would do something different and make a more candid video just because today is my birthday, and I thought that today would be a good time to kind of reflect back on my travel experience as well as my goal to visit every single country in the world and how the pandemic has affected some of the travel plans that I have set out for myself. So, I think one of the things that I wanted to do, one of my goals moving on to the future, is to visit every single country in the world. However, I do plan on getting married and having kids, in the next 3 years or so. So I'll be 40 by then. I'm 37 right now. Today's my 37th birthday, and yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to visit every single country in the world by the time I turn 40 and I decide to get married and have kids. So I have decided to throw that plan out of the window. And one of my new plans instead is just to visit 100 countries before I get married and have kids. And I think that's a more doable plan. And ideally, though, I would like to visit every African country, by 40, just because Africa is one of the hardest places to travel to, and there's a lot of logistical issues, as well as if I decide to have my own family, my family might get worried that I'm going to all these like dangerous African countries. So I think from just I don't know how to call it. Like maybe when you're younger, it's easier to go to more sketchy places, and then when you're older, it's best not to go to those places just because, it might not be as safe. I mean, I know people that still go there regardless of age, so I'm probably just making this up in my head, like the irrational fear that you go to some of these countries and it's pretty dangerous. So last year when the pandemic hit, one of my plan before the pandemic happened and everything got shut down was I was actually going to be finishing South America and Central America. So obviously that plan is out of the window. And I'm not too, like, I'm disappointed because there was like a once in a lifetime flight I had for Easter Island that I will never get ever again. At least I don't think so. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so. Like, I got a flight to Easter Island for $20 and I was like really gung-ho and excited about that. And then now obviously that's no longer available. Because I booked with my British Airways Avios, and Avios is no longer, or I booked it with British Airways Avios with LATAM, but LATAM is no longer with OneWorld. So, the plan is out of the window, and I don't know how I will go to Easter Island now for just $20 like I originally have planned. I mean, obviously I can still pay out of pocket, so it's not like it's impossible, but obviously, our goal here in my channel, the Travel and Live Free channel, is trying to save as much money as possible to go on trips, right? So, instead of spending your money on the flights, you would be spending your money on, the excursions and the tours or sightseeing or, that kind of stuff. One of the things that I decided to do in the future too, and I think it's one of those things that kind of people said to me, oh, you travel way too fast, like you don't get a chance to stop and just really explore and enjoy the country that you visit. And well, that's not actually true because I did my statistics, and half the time when I do travel I spend more time in a country than not. But I do have, like, the way I travel is I have countries that I know that I will probably enjoy, and I want to spend a good at least 1 month in that country. And then I have countries where I just want to see specific things there. Like, for example, in Machu Picchu I want to see in Peru I want to see Machu Picchu, for example. So, I have countries where there's certain things I want to see there, but I don't necessarily want to visit the entire country. I just want to see the highlights. And then there are countries that are just my checklist countries, where I go there, stay for one day, or just do a day trip there, and then I'm done and I leave. And I check and it's finished, And people say, well, you're not getting to know those countries, those checklist countries that you do go to. But the thing is, I'm having fun. Like, I'm enjoying myself. And so if I'm having fun and I'm enjoying myself, like, what is the problem, right? So there are countries, and most of them are in Europe. A lot of countries in Europe, I do think that they look kind of the same. And I'm not super interested in most European countries. Some of my favorite countries are in Europe, like Poland, for example, and Scotland. I know Scotland's not a country, it's part of the UK, but it's one of my favorite places in Europe. But, I don't think you can reasonably visit every single country in the world if you don't do what I'm doing, which is like you just visit a country for a day or do a day trip there. Just because there's so many countries out there. However, I have been pleasantly surprised where I did do a day trip in a country or just stayed there overnight, and I absolutely loved it, and I want to go back and explore. And I think that's also one of the cool things about like what I'm doing right now when I try to visit every single country in the world, is I do get to sample every country, and if I like it, I can always go back. And people say, "Oh, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money," but that's why I'm using points and miles, right? The points and miles gives me the ability to do that without spending tons of money. And Serbia is a great example of a country that I absolutely love. And when I went there, I was blown away how friendly people were. So it's a country that I definitely want to explore more. And originally I just went there for one night. And yeah, if I had never done the whole one night thing, I would have never known how great it is. Now I know, and I want to go back there. So, that's great, right? Now, I do want to go back to a lot of the countries that I've been to before and really spend some time there. So I do plan on traveling again for 1 year before I get married, do like a final hurrah. I would like to travel for 1 year also with my girlfriend. So I'd like to do 2 1-year trips, at some point in the future. Once by myself and once with my girlfriend. And then that will be kind of be like my final hurrah. But once I have a family, I'm still going to travel and stuff. But, obviously it's not going to be like as crazy as I do right now. It's not going to be as go, fast paced kind of travel, obviously it's not going to be as easy then, especially when I have responsibilities that I just can't do that. But that's why I'm saving some of the easier countries for later, because obviously once I have a family, then I can just go to those easy countries, right, and explore it with them, and it's not a problem. And I like all sorts of travel style. I'm not super picky. Definitely for me, like the thing that I enjoy the most about traveling is living in that country. Actually, I love living in another country. Like when I got a chance to live in Colombia for a month, in Thailand for a month, like those were some of the best times of my life. And when I travel again for 1 year, I have narrowed down several countries that I want to revisit again and stay there for at least a month. Some of those countries includes Colombia, which is one of my favorite countries in the world, second favorite or even first for places to live. I want to go back to Serbia, like I said. I want to go back to Poland and Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia. Malaysia is actually near the top. It's probably my favorite country in Asia is Malaysia. So those would be, 6 or 7 countries that I definitely want to go back to and live there for at least, a month or longer. And when I travel with Karen, I do have my own criteria for countries that I want to visit with Karen and stay there for a month. So places like Ireland or Scotland, mix those two together. As well as New Zealand. I'd like to do a camper van trip, starting from Auckland all the way down to the southern tip of New Zealand. That would be super awesome. And, live in Malaysia for a month too with Karen. So those are some of the things that I would like to do with her. So those are some of the trips that I would like to do based on if I'm traveling solo or if I'm traveling with my girlfriend. Now, there are some areas in the world that is still in my bucket list that I definitely want to see, like adventure must-see destination. So Patagonia is in the list. Lençóis Maranhenses in Brazil is definitely really high on my list. I'd love to see Timbuktu in Mali, although it's not very safe to go there right now. But at some point, I would love to go there and just like really explore that ancient library in the world. I'd love to do that Mauritania train ride where you're on top of the train and it's going through the desert. I know some YouTubers are making videos in that. I'd love to do that. That sounds super epic. And so those are the kind of trips that I like to do, which is like super adventurous kind of trips, I'm not big into cities, so I think for me, like city tours are like the least, like probably the bottom of my list. I know people like doing that, hey, let's go to the city and have like a nightlife, screw you. I don't care about that shit. That shit's lame, You're lame. I'm just kidding. I'm half kidding because that is kind of lame. So, but regardless, so that's kind of like some of my thoughts in regards to travel into the future, and also just reflecting back in the past and how I feel about certain countries that I visited traveling. So this is kind of like a ramble on my birthday, and I'm still chipping away at the whole travel and live free YouTube videos. And as I'm working on making videos to help Canadians or people around the world save money on travel, as well as talking about adventure travel or living abroad and long-term travel. And those are the topics that I'm really interested in, and I feel like a lot of people are also interested in. Not everyone, of course, everyone has a different lifestyle. Some people don't even like traveling. Some people are completely content just being in their home and not even living their city. So that's okay, to each their own, right? So yeah, that's about it for my video today. And like I said, not my typical video, but it's my birthday, so I thought I'd do something quite different. So take care and have a good day, and hopefully this pandemic thing comes to an end, especially after the vaccination process is complete sometime in September. I do have a trip planned in December. I didn't make any bookings yet just because the pandemic's there and I don't want to book something and have to cancel it, So I'll rather just save my energy and just wait till later when I know for a fact I've gotten vaccination, or I've gotten vaccinated, and I can go travel outside and, love to go back to Africa. So yeah, take care and see you then.